Welcome to another one of our collaboration series. Today, I have special guests of Theobald Lending. These guys are going to go over our Utah real estate market and the lending issues. So hang tight and I'll bring them right on. But as you know, first things first.
This is Honey Badger Nation,
where real estate agents from around the globe come together
to grow, collaborate,
and expand their business.
Where we take our individual fires
and put them together and make one big fire.
This is the Honey Badger Nation.
Thanks for showing up, guys. We've got Tyler and Carla with us. So here we go.
Hey, Tamra.
I love it because you guys are like chatting, you guys doing your thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, we're live.
I may have been saying things. I apologize. I was trying to keep it G-rated, everyone.
You know, this is how we roll. It never fails. Even if we go to lunch, this is the way it rolls.
Hey, there you go. We keep it original all the time.
There we go. So let's talk about the fact that Tyler's been doing this for 23 years.
Yes, I'm old. My birthday's in May, everyone. So I've been doing it a while. I got into it. I mean, that's a funny story. I went to grad school. I got into, when I graduated, there was the, 01, kind of the depression. My buddy says, like, let's do loans. And I'm like, what's a loan? Anyhow, he's like, yeah, that thing I got you into your house, you can make good money being a loan officer. At the time, you paid $50. You went and got your fingerprints, and then they gave you a license. So now it's a little bit different, but that was back in 1999. And then ever since then, it's the world and the industry's changed a ton. But it's been a wild ride, and it's been good to see the couple of changes that the states have made to help legitimize lending so you don't have one of those 06, 08 crashes again, to making the quality of the people coming in a little bit better. So it's been crazy, but good.
Good to know. So what are some of the changes that you're seeing now in our, ever-changing market?
Yeah, great question. I mean, like say in January, we could have got you in the mortgage in the low, 2.5 range. Today, you're more like 4.5. So it's been scary to see the change in it, but they're trying to slow the inflation down. They're trying to slow the demand of the housing, but they're really trying to keep everybody in check. Right now, the biggest challenge or biggest thing that we're seeing is when you used to come to a mortgage, it was a simple, you got a regular customer, you got a regular job, and what they did what they call Fannie, Freddie, Mac loans, where it's just kind of the run-of-the-mill loan. Everybody kind of got the same thing. Whereas of now, everybody, you kind of have to be a matchmaker when it comes to loans. We are a broker, and the broker world is taking off even more than it has been. As a broker, we make less money than a typical bank, which means the rates are always better, number one, but you have to be able to pick. You have to be able to pick the right loan for the right customer. And that's really hard if you don't know what you're doing. So we found a way to make that work. It's sometimes difficult to find the right customer that you're looking for. And right now the customers' demands, because of the interest rates are going up, a lot of people can't qualify for your typical mortgage. So they're able to do bank statements. So they're able to get a little of they can claim more money on what they're receiving in their monthly statements versus a W-2, and it's you got to be a little more creative. They are tightening a little up on the credit standards. They just want to make sure that people that are getting loans, they're actually able to qualify and make those payments. So
we're not looking at another 07, 08 when those loans were going out when people shouldn't actually be getting them.
Yeah, and people, you got to figure, I mean, the people that are buying houses are legit. I mean, even on your bank statement deals, we've had a couple, and they're putting in their personal bank accounts, anywhere between 50 to 200 grand a month. They can qualify for it, but they've been turned down a million times. We're getting a ton of those loans right now. They're trying to get a loan, but the ability for them to get one, you have to really it's more like an interviewing process. What do they have? What do they want? It takes a little more time on the front end, but it helps people get able to get a loan, and then B, they're able to get the right loan for them at the time. So the other thing, it's tax day. So when you do your taxes, I love self-employed people, but you got to make sure you claim enough if you're going to refinance or buy a house. Very important.
Now that you touch base on tax day, kind of go into a little more clarity with that, because people, I don't think, realize how important that is.
Yeah. So when you buy a house, it's called a debt to income ratio. And the problem is you got to be able to have enough of the income to pay for all the debts you have. And in doing so, there is a calculation. It's not really hard. You kind of DM us, let us know. I don't want to say, it's so easy to do. It's really not that hard. But what you got to do is you got to be very specific. You can't ever lie to us. And you say, look, here's my income. Here's my debts. Great. You want to buy X house? Well, based on the current rates, in order to qualify for that house, you need to have X amount on the adjusted gross of your income in order to qualify. We had a customer, 3 weeks ago, and he was in the process of selling his house and buying another home. Well, we looked at his tax returns and we're like, this isn't going to work. So he had to properly, claim enough of his income in order to qualify for the house. If not, he would have been homeless. So really, really, really important. I know the problem is we as a lender, we want you to claim enough money so you can qualify. As a CPA, they want to legally write off enough. They want enough. You got to claim enough, but write it off. There's a good balance, but it's really, really important. If you are in the process of buying or refinancing your home, you got to consult with us. You got to go the full application. We just can't tell you over the phone, here's what it looks like. We got to see everything, because I don't want to jeopardize you and your family being homeless because you saved $1,000 on your tax return. So it's not hard, but it's a specific art that you got to know what you're doing.
Absolutely. So what do, say you get an applicant that comes to you and they're looking to buy a house, what do they need to have in hand to show you so that you can start that process?
Yeah, great question. First and foremost, Carla, if you want to say that. Carla would love to talk right here because I've been talking. So we're going to introduce Carla. Come on, start talking.
So first and foremost, you want to make sure that we have your application in hand, right? We want to get you approved, pre-approved before you start going out shopping for anything. So making sure that you don't have any lates on your credit. You don't have any new increase on your credit. That's what we're seeing a lot of people right now, because everybody's out shopping for everything underneath the sun, right? And so we want to make sure that your increase are really, really low. And then 2, making sure that you have your recent pay stub, your bank statement. If we're going self-employed, making sure that we have all those documents that show where your money's coming in from. So if you're paying yourself, make sure that you have those invoices, or you have those paychecks, or those QuickBook documents, or whatever it is that you use to calculate your income. Make sure that you have those documents ready for us.
And no screenshots. Carla gets really mad. When you get a screenshot, no screenshots.
Don't screenshot us. Don't send us anything password protected. Tell your accountant immediately. We don't want it password protected. And it's not to make it harder for the borrower. It's just simply so that when we do submit it over to the underwriter, we don't have to keep coming back. Here at Theobald Lending, we believe in what we like to call that one-touch process, where we just touch it once and it goes in and it's just a smooth sailing, right? And then the next phone call that we do with you, or that we do with the realtor, is say, hey, we're clear to close. We're ready to rock and roll. So we don't want to keep coming back to you and asking you for documentation over and over and over again, because that's annoying not only for you, but also for me. Like, I don't want to keep calling you saying, oh, you forgot this, or you forgot to sign this, or you forgot, so just when it's up front, we like to joke and say, like, at the minute that process starts, forget about Tyler, forget about your realtor. I'm your best friend, and what I say to you, it goes, and that's just how it is. And it's, again, not to be mean, just simply to keep that process running smoothly.
Now you bring up process, so let's talk about what that looks like, so they have an idea of what to expect.
Okay.
So typically, we have to interview the customer as much as we can, right? So to get the best customer, the best rate, the best program, the least amount of drama, because the problem is people like the process to be clean, right? They want it to be a happy process on the lending side and on the real estate side. You want the experience to be well for your customers. In order to do that, we got to have facts. Don't lie to us. Because if you lie, then we're going to put you down a path that you don't qualify for.
Correct.
Right? And then we have to change it around. We can still get the loan done, but you think it's drama. Well, it's not, because people just weren't fully honest with us. The underwriter, they're smart. The way the technology works, they're able to look at certain things behind the scenes that don't necessarily kill files. They have questions, right? We have to paint the story in the way it needs to look to present it to the customer or to the bank. We don't want to look stupid in presenting it that way if it's not really the truth. Like we had one, we have one today. We submitted this file. We have a new accounting system, a new payroll system started in February. Well, the underwriter's like, oh, by the way, you're off like 3 months. Did he take a month off of work? We're like, I don't know. So we had to call the customer and say, what happened? Did you take 3 weeks off unpaid? He's like, and come to find out, no, they switched payroll companies. So the more facts you can give us, it allows us to present the file, put it in right. It makes the process easy for you. It makes it easy for your customers. And then it presents it right the first time. And then there's less conditions. So again, lending isn't really hard. And people want to give money. People think, oh, the rate's up, they're shutting the market down. No, the banks still want to give money, right? They just want to know the whole story before they give you the keys to your house. So if you can help us, get the correct story, so then we can get it to the right bank. Again, we're with 70 different banks. Trust me, they want to lend you money. They want to help you get a loan, but at the same time, they want to make sure that you're getting the right loan that qualify for that particular program. So again, it's not really hard, but the more facts that we have up front, along with the applications, the pay stubs, the W-2s, all that stuff, the more clear it is, we don't have to come back and ask twice. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to look incompetent, and you don't want to be angry with us either.
And then we also want to say, don't give too much information, right? Like the more you feed the underwriter, the more they're going to get hungry and they're going to keep asking for things. So just talking to me as your, senior processor, and then also me working with any realtors, just kind of going over that process with our realtors, making sure that we kind of have that clear picture in the beginning. So that way, when I'm on the phone fighting for the files, I'm not saying to the underwriter, oh, I don't know, let me call you back because I need to go back to my borrower and find this out, right? Like it's better for me to have that clear picture. And then that way, let's say if a condition did come back in and it was the wrong condition, I can then go to the underwriter and then fight for it before having to come to that borrower to say, can we have these documents? Because my ending goal is I tell this to all of my borrowers, I don't want to call you again until I call and say that we're clear to close. So I don't want to have to call and say, hey, Tamra, can you get me that pay stub, or can you get me that last bank statement? No, you should know if you get paid, if it's a new end of the month, get me that new pay stub, get me that new bank statement, right? Because of the simple fact that it's going to make that process a lot easier and smoother.
Right on. Now, the first thing, let's kind of go through this process just so a borrower understands how the lending side works.
Okay.
Because they fill out their application, they have the conversation with you, then what happens?
Well, that's a great point. So I will do like an interview with them. I'll kind of scrub the file, make sure that it's doable. We'll talk about credit. We'll talk about the income, how they are paid, what their pay looks like. We'll talk about if they have a down, any money down, no money down, VA loans, FHA, Utah housing, all the type of loans, and Carla. And then I'll transfer the information over to Carla. But in the meantime, me and Carla is met together, put a plan for that customer, say, okay, based on what I'm being told, this is what it looks like. This is what the direction that we're going to go. And that point, Carla jumps in, gets all the information from them, right? And then once it's all given, then we review it again. Okay, A, this is what we thought we got, but then B, oh, it's not. And then we clarify that before we submit them to the banks as much as possible. The more clarity we have, it helps the process better. And that's just one thing real quick on that. We had a customer last week. He's like, oh, I want to buy a house. Oh, great. Awesome. I put an offer in tonight, and back in the day, I used to say, great, let me help you. Right now it's like, no. And he's self-employed. And it's like, he's a friend, so I'm trying to be nice, but I'm like, well, what did he claim last year? He's like, I did really well. Okay, define really well. My business was great. I bought a new truck. Awesome. I got a Raptor. True story, right? And he's like, well, what did your adjusted gross say? I don't know. Kind of important. He called me back as $22,000. And he wants to buy a $400,000 house. And I'm like, okay, well, do you have a mom? Anyhow, his parents are going to co-sign for him, but okay, let's get all the facts, because, and that leads us to your next thing, is when you're putting an offer on a house, right? The lender has to help fight for you just as much as a realtor, right? A good lender will help you do that because they're helping that customer look legit, right? The speed, the timing, if you can eliminate all errors from a lending standpoint. So when people actually put an offer in, they can get either you get a contract or B, get the offer accepted quicker, because you have to eliminate all room for error when purchasing a house. So, but in order for us to do that, we've got to have all the facts from the customer. So
well, and especially in this market, you've got to have a solid buyer. Otherwise, you've got disaster written all over it.
Yeah.
And since you're also a real estate agent, how does that work? What are you seeing, working with your clients on the real estate side, not so much the lending side, but the real estate side?
The real estate's been fun. I've been a real estate agent for about 5 years. I got into it because I saw a demand in the agents that a few skills that they were lacking, right? We do really, really well in the real estate, not Tamra, I said a few. And because the problem is if you're an agent, you got to know how to give people money in order to be a successful agent, right? Well, we do really well because we, as a lender, we can't be on both transactions, but from a realtor side, we know how to give people money, right? And then we know how to make people look good. So when people are putting offers in on houses, we're able to make them look A, legit, B, you speed up the process. So we have it all in place that it's a one-stop shop, but more importantly, when a person comes in, they can, if they make an offer, they're actually buying the house, right? Right. There's no wishful thinking, and you can't have wishful thinking, right? Because those vibes go to the seller's agent. They're like, can they really buy? I hope. I don't know, right? Well, when we call to put an offer in there, we've eliminated all room for error, and it makes it really good. But we've also scrutinized the people buying the home too. Or when you ask these millions of questions, you ask the hard questions, to the other agents, you get a lot of respect because they know that you know what you're talking about, right? Tell me about your customers and their DU findings, right? Let me see them. Like, what's their credit score? What's their down payment? What's their ratios at, right? What's the front end? What's the back end ratio? So it makes them they get a little scared because they got to be on their game too. So when people putting offers on the homes that we have is, when we accept an offer, I run them to the 10th degree, and they get a little scared when we talk because I'm asking all those hard questions, right? And that's what makes us really well on the real estate side is if we represent a house, we ask those hard questions, and then the process goes smooth. Like right now we have 3 listings under contract, and they're all good. It's not because what's happening today, it's what happened right at the beginning when we initially put them under contract. We did all of our homework, so now me and the customers don't have to worry. They're actually able to afford what they say they can afford, right? Barring the appraisal. But other than that, you eliminated all error. So
absolutely. So now I know that you're in the Utah market, but what other markets can you lend in?
So we're in 17 states right now. So back in COVID, we averaged about 70 loans a month on the refinancing side. So it's crazy. We have a great system. Again, we are brokers, so we just find the cheapest rate out there. And when you don't physically touch someone, you got to be really, that was funny. You got to be really, really good at your job because again, this is the first one I've ever done. So it's I was telling Carla, I'm kind of a virgin at this. It's a little awkward. But from the out-of-state stuff, when you do an out-of-state loan, your margin of error is 0, right? If you screw up on the disclosures, if you misspell a name, any kind of like that information, it gives them a reason to say goodbye, right? So we perfected that world, all West Coast, Midwest, Florida, everywhere, which is great. But the coolest thing about it is we're able to make a very successful business, not touching people, right? And in doing so, you have to be good at your job. Like, for example, the closings, they're all remote. They go to their house. I mean, it's just the dangest thing. It's like anywhere in America, we can have a closing within 2 hours, right? A mobile notary will show up on your doorstep. It's really, really convenient. But again, if you aren't showing up at the closings when they're in, Tennessee, you have to be really good at your job. The numbers have to be exactly as you discussed. The communications have been really clear. That's helped us a lot on our side, is because we have to be really good at our jobs, and we want to be, constant communication with people. Carla, when we do it, we always have group threads with people, and it seems a little intense, but the agents know, we know, the customer knows what's going on at all times of the transaction. They know, we know, everybody knows, right? And if we're asking for stuff, the agents know that we've asked, so they jump in, help their customer get it out. The customer knows at any given time, right? The clarity is there, so there's no questions. How do you get the loan closed? I don't know. Let's look. I need an updated pay stub. All right. Oh, so it's clarity. We want to help people, but we're able to close a lot of loans, but the stories, always have to be the same. You can't lie to people. I mean, it sounds funny, but we've learned a lot in doing it that way.
Well, and
it must happen a lot.
What's that?
I said it must happen a lot. People must tell stories all the time.
Yeah.
They do. And we have a system too that where like it's a plug and play system, right? Like where the minute he doesn't even have to take an application. He just sends a person a link, and legit, they can go onto that link. They can upload all their information. We get their credit instantaneously. And on top of that, we get all of their documents. So they don't even have to think about what they're doing, Tamra, about, okay, now I got to log into my bank and grab those bank statements. Now I got to go here. Now I've got to get those pay stubs. Nope. All you simply have to do is go in, you put your credentials in. It's not anything that's sent to Ty and I. It's just like logging in to your bank account from your computer. You log in, it takes you right to that portal, takes you right to the part where it shows you where to pull your statements from. You pull those statements, you click upload, and then it's done, right? So like, it's really like, so we don't have to be in front of that customer anymore to say, hey, John, submit here or do this or give me those pay stubs. I actually hate it when borrowers give me documents. It makes me kind of nervous. I'm going to admit, when someone said, oh, here's my documents. And I don't want those, because the simple fact, I don't want to lose them. And 2, I don't want those, right? I don't want to be responsible to make sure that something's scanned in properly or that it's done right. So that's where the technology side has really come into play for us. And then we also, for our realtors, we have, some marketing documents that we can give them. That's something that Ty's been huge on with a lot of his closings, where we have those plug and play things. We know different listings that are coming up in the area, different, demographic areas where we can say, okay, this home rated at this amount, how can we get your home to this as well? And then we can help them with the staging. We can help them with all those different things so that we can make sure that the home sells for the top dollar. I mean, last week we had 2 homes that sold over $100,000 of the asking price of, and it kind of threw our borrowers off because they didn't really understand what to do when Ty called them and said, you're getting $100,000 more than what you even asked for. So that's kind of where we look at it, and we go a little bit more on the back end to be able to say what that borrower can qualify for.
Nice. I like smooth processes. And I like simple, and that's simple. Anyone can click a link. I mean, half of the time we spend all of our time on social media anyway. So, you know, that's where everyone's at. And I know you guys are building an Instagram page. What is your Instagram tag on Theobald Lending?
So our Instagram page is Theobald Lending. Once a month, just so everyone knows, I get tied in, you know, a 2-hour period where he has to come up with funny reels and funny things to do. So those are always fun to do. But our page is getting ready to be a lot more intentional as well, especially with the market changing the way that it's changing every single day. You're going to see us on our stories more, talking about like kind of an update. We've kind of started doing some lives. Poor Ty, he's getting used to doing those lives.
I think too. I'm getting better.
Our first 2 were kind of crazy, but that's okay. It's a learning curve, right? So, but if you check us out at Theobald Lending, we like to have a good time. We're a family-based business, so you'll always see our families on our pages, and
we're making them educational too. So we try to have substance, like what kind of loans are working, what we're seeing success in. You know, we have the fun and games, but we also have the substance to them, right? So, and we'll keep doing that way too. Even on the live, we're going to do successes, what we've learned, what's working, what's not working, some of the pitfalls. You know, the market's crazy right now. A lot of people are still buying houses.
Yeah.
You know, in all honesty, it really doesn't matter. I mean, even back in the day when I bought my first house in '92 and interest rates were, you know, well above 10%, and people were still buying houses. I mean, it really doesn't matter. I don't think it matters interest rates because people are still going to buy.
Yeah, I think my favorite reels right now that's out there is a mortgage professional saying, you know, really, you're going to wait for 3 years to buy a home when rates are better? We don't know what rates are going to do, right? Like you just said, I mean, years ago, I mean, my mother-in-law just told me when they first bought their house that they still live in, it was at 14%. Like that's crazy, right? And so now we like fret over like a 2% rate. Well, everyone's still buying, everyone's still selling, we're still lending, nothing's changing in that aspect. And we want all of our viewers to know that we're still here to help you. We're not going anywhere. You know, nothing's stopping in our world, and anything, it's getting better and growing a lot faster and becoming that empire that we want it to be. So
sweet. Well, I know you guys are a great team, and I love working with you too. So, and I appreciate you guys doing this with me today.
It was fun. It was fun to do it with you.
So is there anything that you'd like to let my audience know before I let you guys go?
Tamra's awesome. We love her. She's like us. We don't
you know, they don't call me the boss lady for nothing.
I know. You didn't even tell me to say that. I just knew.
Well, I'm telling you, they don't call me. I mean, I even have people send me coffee cups to say boss lady.
That's awesome.
I have a T-shirt that says the same thing. I mean, hello.
You know, I think really, Tamra, if for us here at Theobald Lending, if there's one thing that we can say and that we value on, first and foremost, we value the fact that we are a family business and we run it as so, right? So all of our clients, they become like family to us, and we take care of them like they're our family. We're not here. Yes, we're, you know, at the end of the day, we have to make money, right? But that's not what our first ending goal is, right? We're not here to screw somebody over, to, you know, rape them on rates or rape them on fees or whatever. If anything, we go to bat for our clients and make sure, like we had a client last week. I mean, I knew personally, we've already done 4 deals for him, 4 or 5 deals for him. And I know that he could have afforded it, right? But I went to our title company and I said, wait a second, he's a for sale by owner. Let's give him that credit. Let's give him, you know, let's take away this fee that we don't really need in there, right? So we always go to bat for our customers, and we make sure that our customers get that customer service, no matter if you're here in Utah or, you know, in Texas or wherever you are, we're going to work with you. And we don't ever just take a customer and say, well, your credit is crap today, so we're not going to, you know, work with you. We're actually going to help you build up your credit and, you know, and then also grow, right? Because we want to have those customers come back to us and have them be those 4, 5, 6 deals that we're doing for that one customer. And those are the people that we love and that we want to work with.
Our current pipeline, just what you're saying on that, is over half of them we've already done business for them in the past.
Yeah.
So
and we like those and we want referrals, right? I mean, that's the name of the game right now, is a referral-based program. You could do whatever you want on social media. You can say whatever you want, but if you don't have that word of mouth, it gets you nowhere. And that's really what we want your viewers to take away from, is that we are that type lender to work with. just you know, pat on our backs, you know.
A little touch there.
Right? And we want to be there. We want to work with all the realtors that we can, and we want to have that good time, but also be professional and just help those customers that are out there.
Right
so
on.
let us know what we can do to help anybody.
You guys are awesome. I mean, you guys are awesome, and I mean, you know your stuff, and I enjoy working with you, and I bring my clients to you with absolutely no worries whatsoever.
Yep.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
We do. We appreciate you more than you know, Tamra.
Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and I don't want to take up any more of your day because I know you guys are busy. So
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You guys have a great rest of your day.
Okay, see ya.